Production support for the Friday Zone is provided by the Margaret A. Cargill Foundation and by WTIU members. Thank you. You know, Emily, one of my dreams is to travel into outer space.
Ooh, where do you want to visit? Like the moon or Mars?
No, I want to go to the sun.
What? You'd burn up if you went there.
I already thought of that, so I'm going at night.
You're not alone. You're in the zone. So hang up the phone and get in the zone. Get in the zone. The Friday Zone. You're in the zone. The Friday Zone. Everyone is invited to come. Everyone is invited to come. Everyone is invited. Get in the zone. Everyone is the Friday Zone.
Hey guys, we're taken to the stars on today's show.
That's right. This episode of The Zone is all about outer space.
And we're kicking things off with a Friday Zone field trip. Hey guys, I'm here with my brother Ben and DJ, and we are at the Goth Link Observatory. Let's go on in and take a look. Come on, let's go guys. John, how's it going?
Welcome. Welcome to the Link Scope.
Everybody, this is John. John, this is my brother Ben,
Oh, hi.
his
Hi,
friend
Ben.
DJ.
DJ,
Hi.
So, John, what have we got ourselves here?
we have the Link telescope.
When was this built?
The original was in 1939.
And they had telescopes back then?
Oh yeah, there was telescopes back in the 1500s.
Oh, wow. Is this named after somebody, or?
It's Getty Link.
Getty Link. And who was he?
He was a goiter surgeon from Indianapolis.
Oh, so he wasn't an astronaut or anything?
He wasn't an astronaut or an astronomer or anything. This is his hobby.
This was his hobby. 1939, how much does it cost to build something like this that we're standing in right now?
I would imagine around 100 grand.
What is that in nowadays money?
Probably close to 10 or 11 million dollars.
That's an expensive hobby, guys. Let's get started, right? Let's take
Let's
a look.
do.
Cool, awesome.
Let's open up.
Wow, look at that.
Now, right now, we're looking straight up at Jupiter.
Cool.
Venus is just right above the tree line.
Right there.
Yep. Let's move it into position.
Okay. So we are focusing this on Jupiter.
Yeah, we're moving it to where we can look at Jupiter.
Cool. Have you guys seen Jupiter before?
No.
Neither have I.
Okay, let me turn the lights out so I can
Okay.
focus on this.
Just doing some fine tuning real quick. Oh, so it's really dark right now. What are we doing now?
I've got to find Jupiter in the sight scope.
Okay, and we can't do that with all the lights on, right?
No. It's hard to look at a single bright speck in the sky when everything else around you is bright as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we come. Cool beans.
You see it?
Yeah.
So the lights are, guys, the lights are gonna come back on so we can actually get, whoa, there we go. To look at Jupiter, are we gonna look where you're looking through?
This is just a sight scope.
That's just sight.
We're going to
This
be
is-
looking through here.
He adjusted it right here, right? He looked in here, he got his coordinates in that one, and then he looked through this one, and then after that step, now he's looking through this one, and he can finally see that little dot right there. It's gonna be a picture up there. What do you see?
Awesome.
What is it?
It's Jupiter.
I can see its moons. I can see there's 3 of them, and there's one. It's right behind. Is one of the moons getting ready to pass behind?
Yeah.
Oh wow! And how far away is this?
Well, we are basically one astronomical unit, which is 93 million miles, and Jupiter is 4 astronomical units away from us. So it's basically around 400 million miles away from us.
Now we're going to look at something that is what?
250,000.
250,000, and that is the moon. And I'm pretty excited. So let's. How do we get this to the moon's not over here? How do we get this over there?
Hell, I need some help.
You guys want to help, John? Can you help, John?
Okay? We're going to have to push this one right here.
Go ahead and push that, DJ.
One here.
Oh my gosh. Oh, this is crazy. So you can see this is all made out of wood right now, and it's spinning. The top of the building is just spinning right now. This is so wild. Look at this. So the dome's moving, but we've kind of got the telescope in the wrong spot there. So Ben, you're moving the telescope, right? Ben is lining up the telescope with the moon right now, and then we're gonna get that, and then we're gonna look at the moon.
Here we go.
Oh, that is so awesome. This is so cool. You can see all the craters, and this is cooler than any picture I've seen in any book I mean, this is it right here. This is science at its finest. This is awesome. Look at that. Here, DJ, come on up.
Whoa.
I'm gonna try and get a picture real quick and see, and then we can use this maybe. Wow, even through my phone, I mean, you can see everything. That's the moon right there. John, I want to thank you so much for bringing us out here and showing us. I mean, this is one of the coolest things I think I've ever seen.
I'm glad that you were able to come out.
I'll see you guys back in the studio, and I wish you could see what I'm looking at. It's amazing.
Taylor, that was way cool. I can't believe you actually got to see Jupiter up that close.
It was super cool. And you guys at home can experience the thrill of looking through the Link telescope for yourselves. Just check out the website at the Indiana Astrological Society to find out about upcoming events and how you can plan a visit for yourself. And speaking of visiting, we have a guest here in the zone. We'd like to welcome Stephen Collicott, Professor of Astronautics. How's it going, Stephen?
It's going great. How are you?
We are great.
So, what have you got to talk to us about today?
Oh, I thought we'd come and talk about how you can experience zero gravity like an astronaut and how we use that for research.
Cool. So what do you do at Purdue?
Oh, I'm a professor in aerospace engineering. It's a cool job. Cool. I work with students who want to become aerospace engineers.
So have you been to space?
Oh, not to space exactly.
But
no.
you've experienced.
I've felt zero gravity in a NASA aircraft.
Okay, and what aircraft is that?
Well, it's they call it the vomit comet.
The vomit comet. Why are they called
Well,
the
it
vomit
has a dramatic flight that some people find a little unsettling, and then the comet part is just diving through the sky.
Cool.
So it's a cool name.
Okay, and how does it work?
Well, it's you may have felt when an elevator starts dropping, you feel a little lighter.
And if you jump with it,
Yeah,
you kind of
yeah. Well, this airplane flies a path through the sky. It's just a plain old airplane, but it flies a special path where that little effect there is actually made very big, and you are basically falling at the rate that gravity would make you fall. So relative to the airplane around you, you feel like there's no gravity.
So you actually float in this airplane.
That's correct.
For how long?
Well, it's about 25 seconds at a time.
Okay.
And that's enough to do a lot of science. Like a liquid in our experiment, while you're floating, it's also floating inside its container.
Cool.
Which is exactly what happens to like water with the astronauts in space station up there, or rocket propellants in a satellite.
Cool. What about now in the video right now, we see the arc of the plane.
It's going
how
up.
high up does it go and how low?
Oh, it goes up and down about close to 2 miles, I think, over the flight.
And how quick is that arc back down?
Well, it's kind of symmetric. As steep as that one is shown going up, it's coming down that steep at the end.
Cool.
And you're inside, you don't really feel up and down, but the outside view is really cool.
Can you explain to the kids at home what that feels like what it would feel like to actually go
It
up
has to
in
be
a rocket
intense,
ship?
right?
Well, the nearest thing I can think about on Earth is like if you've ever gone off a high dive.
Yeah.
And that period off the high dive, while you feel in the air and before you worry about hitting the water, that's what it feels like, but it just goes on and on and on and on.
Cool. So that's okay. That's them.
That's
They're
a couple of
floating right
students floating in zero gravity in the NASA aircraft right now. So kids, you can't see if that aircraft is pointed up or down.
So you specialize with liquids and dealing with them. What happens? Okay, so it's called the vomit comet. What happens if you vomit in the comet?
Well, it's I guess as unpleasant as when you're ill at home and it happens.
Right.
But yeah, you use a little bag.
Okay.
And contain it. And
So then with liquids like with vomit, let's get away from the vomit. What
Right.
if you have to drink in outer space? How do you do that? What happens?
Oh well, you've you know, if you have if your container is all liquid like a pouch of water, it's no big deal. But if it's half liquid, half air, then that's where the surface tension or the wicking that we see in drinking straws or towels happens. Here's the video here. A couple of researchers playing around with big water droplets in that aircraft.
So now you guys actually have to use experiments to continue your research, right? So you guys are experimenting right now with something. Can you explain us a little bit about that?
Oh, well, my students, Purdue students are building an experiment to look at how and to measure how and to visualize with high-speed video how liquid droplets in a container how fast they change shape due to maybe changes in the container shape or things like that. And this is useful in space for if you have boiling and condensation, for example, in a refrigerator cycle or an air conditioner. Any type of human life support systems might have water and air that you're trying to separate at times. Okay. Things like that.
Cool, awesome. So you brought some experiments or some things with you we'll look at.
Oh,
in
I
a
brought
second.
some pieces from previous experiments.
Okay,
And
cool,
we
cool.
can't operate them here, but
Okay,
we'll look
yeah.
at them.
All right, well, so we'll get those set up and we'll be back right after this.
The moon goes around the earth goes around the sun, and I'm not sure what the sun goes around. When you go around with me, I'm happy as can be, and I don't think there's a better world to be found. All the orbits are ellipses, and I think they change with time. And the song upon my lips says that the stars all shine when you are mine. The moon goes around the earth, and the earth goes around the sun, and I don't think there's a better world. I don't think there's a better world, and I know that there's no better world to be found.
I know what the sun goes around.
What, dear?
It orbits the center of the Milky Way galaxy.
As promised, Steve is back with us to share some pieces of his experiments that have actually flown on the Vomit Comet. So what do you have here with us today?
Oh, thank you, Emily. I brought in some parts from 4 different experiments that my students over the years have built and flown on this aircraft. Cool. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's nice to look at them again.
Let's start with one of these. What is this?
This one here? Well, this was an experiment the students put together to help out with television satellites. In the satellite, it has a fuel tank with liquid rocket fuel in it that's pressurized with gas, and when you need to fire the rocket motor, you open a valve, and it's like opening a soda bottle. The gas kind of comes out of the liquid, and we didn't want those. They don't want those gas bubbles to get into the rocket motor. So this little shape here uses the wicking of the liquid, like in a towel or a drinking straw, so that if you have bubbly liquid flow coming in here, the bubbles will stay here, and you just get pure liquid rocket fuel out this end.
Speaking of bubbles,
Bigger down here?
Yeah, the liquid wants to wick into the corners there.
speaking of bubbles, we've got some bubbles and some soda right here. What we got this for?
Oh, well, I think it's kind of cool to see that when we talk about these liquids in spaceflight, that actually these phenomena can happen on Earth too. Everybody has probably picked up some soda pop in their drinking straw like this.
Absolutely.
And
Oh, of course, I did this at restaurants all
Yeah,
the time.
it doesn't flow
that's
out.
right. It doesn't flow out.
How does that work?
Well, you know, where the liquid meets the air, there's something we call surface tension, and it fights gravity in that way. So you can pick up
That looks different.
liquid there. Yeah, that's a smaller one, and it comes up bubbly. Emily, why don't you try the big
there's
one there?
only bubbles in that. This one is big.
Oh, why didn't that work?
It didn't even stay in there.
Oh, it didn't?
No.
That's a simple thing. You put your thumb on it. Okay.
She doesn't have the magic touch.
When it gets big enough, gravity's more important. And that's why going into the aircraft, the Vomit Comet, where we get rid of gravity, sort of, that we were able to do these experiments with much larger sizes than a drinking straw here on Earth.
Which is very evident.
Cool. Well, Stephen, thanks. This has been awesome. Thanks for coming in. Really
Oh, it's my
appreciate
pleasure. It was fun. Neat
Love
show.
learning about the vomit comet. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Best of luck on your other experiments.
Thank you very much.
And what we've got next, guys, take a break for a moment of science.
This time on A Moment of Science, how's your fastball? A Moment of Science. Pop quiz. You have a flat table and 2 billiard balls. You and your strong-armed friend each roll one of the balls off the table so they pass the edge at the same time. Only his ball is traveling much faster than yours. Which one hits the ground first? Like most of our questions here on A Moment of Science, it's of course not what you'd expect. The 2 balls will hit at the exact same time, no matter how great the difference in rolling speeds. It's one of the perennial stumpers of physics classes that, provided they both pass over the edge simultaneously, both balls will land at exactly the same time. In fact, no matter how fast the fast ball is moving, it will still fall at the same speed as the ball that just meanders over the edge. Yes, even if the fast ball is fired out of a cannon, this will still hold true. The reason is that horizontal motion is in no way affected by vertical motion. Gravity acts on both the fast ball and the slow ball with the same force at all times. So while the fast ball lands much farther away, it doesn't get to spend any more time in the air than the slow ball. In fact, the only thing that will make a difference in the landing times of the 2 balls is the curvature of the Earth. If the fast ball moves so fast that it's able to get past the point where the ground starts to drop away significantly underneath it, it will then indeed spend a longer time falling, but only because it will now have a greater distance to fall. And if you can generate the kind of energy required to produce this effect, you've just succeeded in putting your fastball into orbit. I'm Mandy Strife, and this has been A Moment of Science. Science!
Thanks, Mandy. And speaking of orbiting, that leads us right into the craft we're making here in our hands-on zone today. Planetary orbiters. And Emily, you're down there with a great group of kids, right?
Absolutely. Are you guys excited to be here? Yeah! Awesome. Well, we are excited to start this, so what do we need to do this?
Okay, to make our planetary orbiter, you'll need scissors. You'll need paper plate. Thank you, Sean. You'll need some poster board, like so, or sturdy construction paper, whichever you prefer. And here's a couple that we've already made. So this is what the final product. Sean, you want to hold that up? Sierra, you want to hold this up too?
What's on that?
So we're making planetary orbiters. So basically, we have a spaceship here, we have a space shuttle here, and we're going to make this thing to where it looks like the alien is going around the planet. Planetary orbiter. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do, so Sean, Sierra, if you want to grab your plates, and you guys too, grab your plates. The first thing you want to do is decorate them, and then we'll do the brads in a second. So maybe you guys want to make a moon, or maybe you guys want to make Jupiter, or maybe you guys want to make Earth. I don't know, whatever kind of planet or whatever you think is really cool, go ahead and start drawing. So, yeah, Death Star, that's awesome, man.
I think I'm gonna do a sun. I mean, it might get kind of hot, but
Let's see,
all right.
I'm going to make something really goofy. I'm gonna make an Easter planet.
yeah, you can have that yellow.
Yeah.
Do you want it? You're using yellow. What are you gonna make?
The sun.
I'm making a sun too. I just don't know what I want to orbit it. Do you know what you're gonna use? What are you gonna do?
An alien.
An alien. Is it gonna be a boy alien or a girl alien?
I don't know.
To be determined. Well, I'm excited. I'm gonna come back and finish my sun with you. Do you guys decide what you're gonna make?
I'm gonna make Earth with maybe a shuttle or some spaceship from a movie or something.
I feel like the spaceship is the trend. You're using yellow. Does this mean you're making a sun?
Yeah.
I am too.
I want to show you guys what we do next. So next, you're going to take this little Brad, this gold-looking dude, and you are going to punch a hole right in the middle. Now I'm making an Easter planet. Crazy, right? Who knew where the Easter bunny came from? So what you're going to do is you're going to poke that right through the middle, put it right in his nose. There we go.
Good job.
And then we're going to leave it like that. And then when we get the next piece, which was with the spaceship, we're going to cut a big long piece, maybe about like, I don't know, 6 inches, and then you'll have whatever you want on top. You make that whatever you want, and then we're gonna punch that through, and I'll show you that in just a second. So now, punch those through, punch those brads through, and get that ready if you're done coloring, and then I'm gonna show you what we do right after that. So
have you guys started the next
take
step
your little
yet?
brad and stick it right through the middle of the plate.
Okay, go ahead and stick it in there for me.
Did you get it? How you guys doing? How's your stuff coming?
There you go.
Good job.
And you just
How's that, Sierra?
separate
Ooh,
those.
I like it. All right, right now I'm gonna make the I guess we'll call it the neck piece. I'm gonna make the neck piece connecting to whatever spaceship I've got going on. So I'm cutting that out right now. Make that nice and long because most of it's gonna be hidden by the plate, and then the top half you will see orbiting around your planet. So I've got that going for me now. Now I'm gonna cut out the shape of my spaceship, which is gonna be a giant egg. Easter shuttle.
I'm still trying to think of a good orbiter. Does anybody have a good idea? Maybe not an egg. Could be anything.
Make a shooting star.
Okay, so now I've got this piece. I'll color it in a minute, but I want to show you guys how you put this on. So the brad's right there. Here's your piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this also through the neck piece. Here we go. There, just like that. Now once you got that, there's two little prongs in here, and you're going to push them both back like this. Let me see if I can do that facing you guys. Just like this, okay? Slowly put those back, push them down, get them in there nice and firm, and then there you go. That's how you do it. Mine's a little long. I could have cut a little more off. Maybe I can fix that in a little bit. But then that's the basic way you make that. Cool.
Pretty
All right,
simple.
Emily, we've got some great planets going here and some good orbiters starting.
Yeah, we're definitely making our way. We gotta have a little bit more time. So while we finish these up, everyone at home, enjoy this Friday Zone flashback.
Friday Zone viewers, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to voyage to Mars with science-oriented 6th graders from University Elementary School. These student astronauts gave up a Saturday afternoon in order to participate in a simulated space flight at the Challenger Learning Center in Brownsburg, Indiana, led by experienced flight director Jane Bruns.
The mission today was a mission to Mars. Half of the crew has been there for 2 years. The other half of the crew is in a transport on the way to relieve the older crew and head back to Earth then. So they get to work both sides in the transport and in mission control.
During their voyage to Mars, each student was assigned a specific duty and was responsible for contributing to the success of the entire team of astronauts.
Well, we have a navigation team, and of course they're the pilots. They get to triangulate distances and speeds. They get us into lower Mars orbit and various scenarios like that, so that they're actually piloting the spacecraft. We have probe who are building the probes and launching them so that we can get more data for future missions. We have REM who are, they investigate growing mediums. They compare Earth and Mars minerals and rocks. Life support keeps the environment healthy. And of course we have our comm team who relays verbal messages, and our data team who types the messages that are more difficult to say.
I'm with isolation. I'm isolation 3, so I have to work with like chemicals and make sure they're not like putting anything wrong together, things like that. Yeah.
The students from university owe their chance to participate in this space simulation to a special crew of 7 who perished during the Challenger explosion in 1986.
Well, January 28th, 1986, the Challenger exploded, and there was a teacher, Krista McAuliffe, on board, and of course all 7 crew members were lost, and they really never got to start. It was 73 seconds after launch that they were lost. One of the main goals and purpose of having a teacher on board is she was going to develop lesson plans and send back to the students and share with all across the country here. The families were of course upset, and I think typically in the United States we build a stone monument and we go and stand and look at it and take pictures. Well, the families thought, no, we needed to have our crew members remembered. So they developed the Challenger Centers so that the goal could still continue. The students can still pique an interest in the space program and learn a lot about it, and thus the crew's vision was carried on.
Sixth grade teacher Becky Gensler knew she prepared her students well academically for their visit, but she had to step back and let the children figure out for themselves how to handle several unforeseen emergencies that cropped up during the simulation.
I know that they've said that sometimes it gets a little high stress, as I'm hearing some buzzes right now. So I'm having to work on their feet, and also that the adults at the Challenger Center really try to step back and let them solve it themselves.
Ariana, a remote team member responsible for analyzing data on board the ship, summed up why science holds such a fascination for her, a reason that also holds true for most of us.
Well, science is my favorite now because of the space. And I don't really know anything about space, and I think it's kind of cool that there's like this whole other world out there.
At the Challenger Learning Center, it's clear to see that tragedy has turned to triumph as the mission of the original Challenger crew lives on.
We've got some great looking planets being made. Here's mine. It's my Easter egg spaceship going around my Easter planet. What have you got, Sean? Can you show everybody? You're just about finished. Nice, look at that. Is that
great.
Mars and a meteor?
Yeah, it's an alien riding a meteor.
That's awesome. Emily, take a walk around. Let's see what else you got.
We have some creative minds over here. Can you show us or tell us what you made?
I made a sun with sunglasses.
Because it is going to be very bright up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
I hope to go there sometime.
Now my friend Sophie here, you did a sun too. What is orbiting your sun?
A chicken nugget.
Now why is that?
Because it's getting fried.
That is the most creative idea I've ever heard. Seriously, everyone's are looking absolutely great. So you guys, thank you so much for coming in to the zone. We're glad you visited, and that's all the time we have, isn't it?
Yeah, well guys, thanks everyone for coming in. Make sure to check out the website, www.fridayzone.org. You can watch this episode and other episodes and see our behind the scenes pictures of all of our crafts. Remember to live, learn, and play the Friday Zone way. We'll see you here next week.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Hey, if your guys' stuff is done, put it in the air.
Production support for the Friday Zone is provided by the Margaret A. Cargill Foundation and by WTIU members. Thank you.